Um, Being a customer-based engagement and the chat, I would not want to bore esteemed customers with too much technical, some people will say jargons, but it's also important we have an idea. So a single-phase meter connection is that type of meter that has a two-wire entry into the meter and a two-wire out of the meter. It is dependent on the kind of load you have in your house, and basically it's the is the first stage of metering in most residents. It has a rating of 5 amps at the lower end and 100 amps. But these ratings are not meant for you to stay on it. It's meant for you to stay within the range, because there are other technical items like we call it startup current and all in most of the equipment you use in your house. That's for a single phase. Now, for a three-phase meter, it's that type of meter that has a 4-wire entry into it and a 4-wire going out of it. The 4 wires are classified normally as the red, yellow, and blue. Then the black represents the neutral. So, and that also has a level of balancing based on the load consumption of the house. Like we all know, most times we talk about current and current flows based on the load of the house. Now, if you have several heavy load items that requires you to, that might take you up to 40 to 50 amps per time, it is good you have a three-phase, which the three-phase will be connected in such a way that those loads are shared evenly to properly register on the meter and not overload the meter. So it's for the three-phase, you have the load shared in a common ratio of between the same 5 amps and 80 amps in 3 places, then the neutral. So with such a load, it will be nice and safer to have that. For example, you have like 60 amps worth of load in your house. You have it a balanced formation of maybe 20 per phase and 20 on the next phase and 20 on the next phase, thereby having a balanced thing. You're protecting the meter, and your meter is effectively able to take care of your load. A lot has happened in meter application, and to make it very easy, things have been done to make it customer friendly. You can sit at your home and have those applications done. And a typical application process is you'll get into the logon. We have a site where you can log in, the Kaduna Electric site. You have an icon there who says apply for meter. You fill the details, and it generates a code for you. And basically, that code, it depends on the scheme that you are trying to get the meter, because there are several schemes that have evolved over time. But for the current scheme which you want to request for a meter, once you apply and fill those details and the codes are generated, you'll be contacted and there will be some survey, and after the survey your meters will be delivered to your location and installed. Yes, before I get into the national mass metering, I would say that the skip part is there are several types of application for meter. For new houses, for new connections, there is a process of customer acquisition which has to be met first to recognize that you are a customer that is willing to be connected to the network. After that, requirements have been filled and completed, and then you can actually now proceed to the point of application, which is the one you can connect to the our system and fill the form and all that. Now, the difference between the meter, the MAP, which is an acronym, a short form for meter asset providers, and the NMMP, which is a National Mass Metering Program, is this. Government, having been very responsive to the plight of customers, actually intended to ensure or intends to ensure that every customer pays for what they consume. So in their wisdom and to the benefit of the customers and assisting us as active players in the sector, introduced the Meter Asset Provider Scheme. And that asset provider scheme was made to have a system where, rather than wait for the application process and you to be metered, you advance it and you kind of speed up the process and ensure that you get metered immediately as soon as possible. In this scheme, you have to advance a payment, which in some other ways it will fast track your acquisition. But the government also noticed that that process was slowing down. And the government had to go ahead and introduce and paid in advance to the companies, because this was to assist us acquire these meters and ensure that we meter our customers so that they pay for what they consume. So going forward, the government introduced the national mass metering, which is the government have just paid for those meters and enjoined us to ensure that every customer in our network is metered, and to account for the energies they have consumed or they wish to consume. And it's also interesting to note that it has helped a lot of customers manage their income and manage their consumption, because where they don't have a need to use power, they have turned off the power, or where they feel that they are consuming, they have introduced energy efficient equipment to ensure that they are on budget. So it's like a pay before you use. So yeah, it's an interesting scheme, and it's been doing a lot for us, and we are getting positive feedbacks from our customers out there for those who have signed up on the scheme and have been metered. And the process is still on. We have concluded the ground zero, and the next phase is commencing. The plan is that everybody must be metered, and that's what we are doing.
So how does the customer get meter under the two scheme?
Well, because of our own exigencies and plannings and implementation technique, because you see, one thing in life is that when we don't have, if we don't implement properly, we might not get the desired result. So due to our strategies and plan, we are running it in phases, and those phases requires a particular location or a group of locations at a particular time. So if you are in, you really need some of these things to be done immediately, you can actually move on to the MAP program, because the MAP program is running side by side. So while we're waiting to start off, which I'll believe any moment from now, the phase one, and you need to be metered, because I think the NEC rule says you cannot be connected to power without being metered. So in a bid to do that, you can actually sign up on the MAP program and get yourself metered.